Hello, my name is Jacob. I find myself sitting here in my home office in Syracuse, New York, with my trusty laptop and not much else. I'm probably going to make the most low budget Kickstarter crowd-funded equity launch on the internet because this is it. I'm taking one take right now. Photo booth, go. Why am I doing this? And why don't I have a smile on my face to begin this video? I should be excited. I'm a 43-year-old man. In 2017, born 1973, I came up in the 1980s, Springfield, Massachusetts, and witnessed with my own two eyes where the priorities of this nation, where the priorities of Western civilization, where the priorities of our leadership was taking us. And I wanted no part of it. I found my own ways to step away, to keep attached but detached, interdependent, me, my own self, connected to my own wishes, my own desires, my own passions, my own wants, needs, and expressions and growths. And yet at the same time, staying connected to my community, finding a way to try to tinker and play in the realms of the machine so that I could maybe apply what I've learned, what I know to be, what I appreciate in life, and what I think our world in many ways is depleted of and suffering from the lack thereof, which is love. In all senses, in all places, in our community development, in our economic development, in our economy, in our education, how we relate to one another, our neighbors, how we treat each other every day. It's been difficult raising myself and being a part of this culture, to be frank. I was lucky enough to be able to travel to Europe at a young age. I was 19 years old. I really had never left New England. I came up in a family with not a whole lot of money and extra resources for vacations or travel. So my sophomore year of college, I was able to go and live in Madrid, Spain, and it was a mind-changing, heart-changing, cultural shifting experience for me, and it had me reconnect with some of my purpose and who I am as a creator, as an artist, as somebody who wants to be deeply involved in where our culture goes and how it evolves from where it is. And where it is a crying shame in many respects. If we look at the state of our civic infrastructure, if we look at the state of our government, our leadership, our self-management, if we look at the state of our neighborhoods, our housing, how we treat those that don't have housing, employment, education, child welfare, nutrition, access to food, access to health care. People look at what's going on with our elections, what's going on at our local level, at the state level, at the federal level, what's happening in Europe, what's happening in the Middle East, the Far East, North Africa, all over the world. People just like you and me, born into this world, just trying to do something positive, live and have peace, you know? But so much has been thrust upon us, so much has been brought forth to force us to recognize it, bear witness to it, and respond to it. So we can't just be at peace. And those who chase just, the fame, the dollar, the 401k, who have blinded themselves to the suffering and the illness and the dis-ease around them for their own self-perpetuation. That's them, that's not us. People who are aware of the suffering around them, people who are aware of the needs of the community, people who are aware that we are only as strong as our weakest link, have struggled in the world that we live in because it's a constant barrage. We know the story, the rich are getting richer. We are the 99%. They have the war machine. They have all kinds of economic apparatus. They have legislation. They have politicians. They have buku dollars. They can do whatever they want, and they thrust it upon us. And then they tell us through all kinds of means, through film, through TV, through the media, news, fake or real, that we should be at each other's throat, that we are each other's problem. Here at the ground level, here like in our city streets, here going to our 9 to 5, here dropping our kids off, here going grocery shopping, here trying to make ends meet, that this is where the struggle is, and we should be watching out and looking over our shoulder and being in high competition with one another. Right? Dog eat dog, watch your back. People are trying to climb over you to get to the next rung. So if somebody's coming up, you better try to kick them down if you want to keep progressing. That's what the narrative we've learned through school, through work, through everything. Not to cooperate, to compete, to be the best, and have no empathy for the losers, the quote-unquote losers. Hey, if you can't make it, out of luck. So if I'm a winner and I'm gobbling more than I even need, more than my family needs, more than just gobbling because I can gobble now, because I have the capital, because I have the leverage, because I have the things at my disposal to be able to gobble, I'm a gobble. Power is addictive. Greed. It's a whole nother realm. People like you and I, we can't understand it. People who are making, I've never made more than $10,000 a year. Check it. If you can find me on the interweb. I've lived below the federal poverty line most of my entire life, definitely my entire adult life, but I've lived a beautiful life. I've traveled the world. I have the most amazing tribal friends. I look at the thousands of friends I've connected with on Facebook who are real flesh and blood friends of mine from all over the world, and they are beautiful people. Hello, I love you. I've done the most amazing things. I've created things from scratch. I've created businesses. I've launched 501c3s. I've brought alliances of 501c3s together. I've run for public office. I've volunteered in my community. I've lived off the grid. I've grown my own food. I've lived in big cities. I've traveled the world. And it's not because of anything more than this is the choice these are the choices I've made, and not because I've subscribed to a formula or a narrative or a story that's been laid out before me. And I unfortunately have seen a lot of my peers, both growing up through childhood and in adulthood, who are afraid to be themselves. They're afraid to authentically tap into who they are. And, it's funny because you can talk to them about early childhood memories, about their persona and what they're into, what they're passionate about, what they thought they were going to be, and what have you, and they light up like a Christmas bulb because it's still there, it's still inside. It's like a little flame that's burning. And then the tears well up, right, a lot of times because they remember who they are. They remember what their nature is and how they've been taught to not be that, to drop that at the side of the road and move on and just, get along with the rest of how the machine works. Pay your dues, be a good boy, be a good girl, and everything will be fine. And it's not. We've learned that. It's all falling down around us. The house of cards, right? And we don't know quite what to do. A lot of us, occupiers, a lot of us who are taking to the streets, a lot of us who are standing in front of pipelines, a lot of us who are standing in front of all kinds of injustices. it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Like what we're doing. I think I just lost my feed. Hello. Hello. It's still going. Okay. So anyhow, why am I doing this video? Everything just went dark on me. Because we're going to buy property here in distressed Syracuse, New York, ex-industrial city who's lost thousands in population over the past 50 years and has left behind in its wake a considerable amount of ex-industrial, commercial, residential space that is in great condition. It needs some TLC, and I'll just point to all my, my qualifications, my resume material, who I am type stuff. So my bio things that you can learn about me, because I know if I'm going to ask you for contributions and partnership and support in what we're trying to do here in Syracuse, that you need to know a little bit more about me. But this is the next wave of my life. This is the next venture, the next adventure. And I've done some really magnificent things that, again, I'll link to below, that I think you'll like, and you'll see how it all integrates into where we are today and what I'm doing today and why I'm here and what and I'll write a little statement and you can read that, but I'll wrap this video up because I think the why was most important, and I had to get that off my chest, and I hope you understand. And the way we're going to apply it now is through real estate development. We're going to do it through a community-supported real estate investment trust. It's going to be focused on arts and cultural art space, creative endeavors. It's going to be for coworkers. It's going to be for painters and musicians and rehearsal space and recording space and film space and teaching space and movement and dance and theater and learning all of the secondary and tertiary elements and needs and jobs and opportunities that come along with putting the infrastructure of the arts together from the ground up. So that's what we want to do. We want to empower artists to come together. It's going to be hopefully multidisciplinary, live workspaces as well as commercial, mixed use. Could be outdoor spaces, could be venues, it could be showcases, it could be marketplaces. We're open for anything. We just know the transformative power of the arts, and we know that the city is in need of a great healing, as is our country, as is our world. And we're going to start right here, right now, and we're going to, we're going to take, I guess, the opportunity to take some real property, some terra firma, as it were, and give it some really beautiful use and vibrancy. And we're going to invite people from Syracuse, beyond Syracuse, well beyond Syracuse, create a movement, create an initiative to come and let's populate this place with, livity, with creativity, allow it to flourish, allow innovation to open its wings, allow for communication, allow for networking and finding ideas and ways in which we can solve problems right here in our own community. We have starving children. We have people living in abject poverty. We have schools that are struggling. We have infrastructure that's falling apart. We have, management that's kind of clunky and it's not working for everyone. So, we have solutions. We have institutions of higher learning. We have resources. We have money. We have natural beauty. We have ideal location. We have the physical property. Again, there's a multitude of space for rent and for sale signs on it. And what I'm suggesting here, and what Crystal City Creative Spaces is suggesting, is that if we put the call out and one by one we start doing these developments with a focus on really revitalizing space in neighborhoods and community with positive self-expression, with love, with community in mind, with having showcases, openings, gatherings, continuing education, neighborhood block parties, you name it. We want to live in a world that's happy, right? Every day we open the news. Every day we hear the gossip around the water cooler, and it's struggle. It's confusion. It's fear. And there are some of us that are winning right now. There are some of us that are winning, but many of us are right on the razor's edge. And I think to some degree I'm trying to speak for them and say, like, if we can just get a leg up, those assets exist, those properties exist. So why not fire them up? Why not create an opportunity for those that are willing to do some sweat equity, willing to put in some time themselves, some labor, some creativity, some design, some elbow grease to get those properties moving and going, and incorporate the community, get them involved, create small jobs, campaigns around it. People can plaster, they can frame, they can nail, they can sweep, they can plant trees and shrubs, they can green rooftops. I mean, we can get this going. It can happen. It's just about the organization, having the resources to get it going, and making it happen. So, namaste. Thank you for letting me get it out of my system, and hopefully this one shot, one take, 16-minute video, which I'll have to probably edit a little bit, I don't know, will convince you to click that button somewhere to contribute. I'll easily lay out for what you give, what you get, how you plug in. We're at the early stages of launching this company. We've already got a great small team of sort of a golden circle of individuals that are coming together around the concept, and we're ready to make it happen just as the weather breaks this spring 2017. So love you, and thank you.